that word, hey, Clay, that word that says Bruce Dave, see that?
C-17 Globemaster 3 military exercise. At a military airbase in the early morning, the pilots and crew of the C-17 Globemaster 3 were seen preparing to conduct a briefing. The flight commander stood in front of a tactical screen, explaining the route of today's exercise. After the briefing was over, the pilots walked to the apron where the C-17 Globemaster 3 was waiting with its engines starting to warm up. They climbed into the cockpit, checking all navigation and communication instruments. Meanwhile, behind, the loadmasters checked the binding of the combat vehicles that would be dropped. There was one armored Humvee that was locked tightly to the cargo pallet. As the sun began to rise, the control tower gave permission for takeoff. The C-17's 4 turbofan engines roared loudly. The aircraft sped down the runway until it finally lifted into the blue sky. After reaching cruising altitude, the cargo crew began preparing the rear area for the simulation of releasing cargo. The loadmaster rechecked the harness and the rear ramp door. The paratroopers from the airborne battalion also prepared with their respective parachutes, checking each other's equipment. After arriving over the training zone, the C-17 pilots lowered their speed and altitude according to drop zone procedures. The cabin lights turned green. With a firm command, the paratroopers began to jump one by one, followed by the release of cargo pallets containing Humvees that skidded quickly off the ramp and floated down using large cargo parachutes. The pilots immediately climbed back up the aircraft after all the cargo had been successfully dropped. They circled the area to ensure the drop process went smoothly. The exercise continued with a simulated landing on an emergency tactical runway. The pilots lowered the C-17 onto a compacted dirt runway. Upon landing, dust flew high around the aircraft. After coming to a complete stop, the rear ramp was opened, as if dropping additional cargo on the front line. A few minutes later, the aircraft took off again to return to base. After landing at home base, the entire crew conducted a debrief, recording the results of the day's training for tactical evaluation. With that, the C-17 Globemaster 3 exercise was complete, practicing all the essential skills: vehicle drop, troop parachute drop, and tactical landing, making it the backbone of the world's strategic military logistics. After a brief debrief on the runway, the pilots and crew unloaded their equipment from the aircraft. The loadmaster began cleaning the cargo cabin, making sure nothing was left behind, while ground technicians immediately performed routine inspections of the aircraft's engines and hydraulic systems. In the briefing room, the commander gave a final evaluation. He praised the teamwork today, especially the coordination between the pilots, loadmasters, and paratroopers, which went smoothly without any significant problems. However, he also emphasized the importance of being on time in a matter of seconds when releasing the load, because in a real battlefield, even the slightest delay could be fatal for troops on the ground. The paratroopers gathered in the hangar to tidy up their parachutes. While sitting down to rest, they had a casual discussion about the wind direction and their landing position earlier. Some people even took a group photo in front of the C-17, immortalizing the successful training moment. Not long after, the commander's voice was heard again over the loudspeaker on the apron, calling the entire crew to the closing roll call. They lined up neatly beside the giant gray aircraft. The commander said,